Okay, good morning everyone, and welcome to the White Coat Ceremony of St. George's University School of Medicine, Class 2029. I would say please be seated, but you are already seated. At this point, I'd like to recognize the presence of a few people. We have Gaurav Dayal, who is our CEO of Metforth. We have Marius Lucas, who's President of St. George's University and our Dean of the School of Medicine. Andy Long, who is the Vice Chancellor, Chief Executive of Northumbria University. Mark Clunes, who is our Interim Provost of St. George's University and our Senior Associate Dean of Basic Sciences. Robert Grant, who is our Senior Associate Dean of Clinical Studies with St. George's University. John Woodward, who is the Pro-Vice Chancellor of International with Northumbria University. Helen Bauer, who is the Chief Marketing Officer with Northumbria University. David Stoker, who is our Associate Dean of Clinical Studies here in the UK for St. George's University. Beryl D'Souza, who was our Assistant Dean of Student Affairs. Lee DeVoken, who is Assistant Dean of Student Affairs. Shubhra Malhotra, who is Assistant Dean of Student Affairs. Jimmy Chong, who is our Associate Chair of Internal Medicine here in the UK with St. George's University. Brian Douglas, who is our Associate Chair of Psychiatry here in the UK for St. George's University. David Holmes, Emeritus Professor of St. George's. All other St. George's and Northumbria faculty, staff and administration. Special invited guests, parents, students, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Robert Finn. I'm Assistant Dean here in the UK. Before you get panicked, this is not a biochemistry lecture or a genetics lecture. We will keep that till Monday. It is my great honor to be your MC for the day. And what I would like to say is, this is your induction into the profession of medicine. But for me, I think about it as your induction and welcome into the SGU family. So please enjoy the day. It's a special moment. And on that note, we'll get back to the ceremony. So first of all, I'd like to share with you a brief history of the ceremony. In 1993, the Arnold P. Gold Foundation created the White Coat Ceremony at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons to promote humanism in medicine. With guidance from the Gold Foundation, St. George's University School of Medicine initiated our own White Coat Ceremony in 1996, long before any other US medical schools. In 2003, the Gold Foundation, founded by the Gold Humanism Honours Society, an international society dedicated to the promotion of humanism, professionalism, ethics in medical practice and education. Dr. Arnold Gold passed away at the age of 92. Dr. Gold was an international advocate for humanism in healthcare, and we at St. George's University had the honor of hosting Dr. Gold and his wife Sandra as a keynote speaker in the spring 2005 White Coat Ceremony. The SGU chapter of the Gold Humanism Honour Society is based in the Department of Clinical Skills and is supported by the Dean of the School of Medicine's office. Our chapter was established the Humanitarian Student Organization in 2009, through which basic sciences students promote humanism across St. George's and the Grenadian communities. Chapter members are nominated by their peers and inducted during their clinical training when they participate in the ongoing clinic charter project. At this point, I would like to welcome to the stage Andy Long, the Vice Chancellor of Northumbria University, to welcome you and to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, our students. I'm delighted to welcome you to Northumbria University and to today's ceremony, which marks the beginning of your journey to become medical doctors. This is a significant day. It's the start of something extraordinary, not only for you as individuals, but also for the global healthcare systems you'll one day serve. Now, for many of you, Newcastle is already a second home, having spent 1 or 2 years studying with us on the preclinical pathway programs developed through our partnership. Introduced in 2020, these programs have welcomed an increasing number of students and enriched our campus with greater diversity, new perspectives, and fresh energy. So whether you're returning to the city or experiencing it for the first time, I'm delighted to be here with you today to celebrate this important milestone in your academic and professional journey. At Northumbria, we're proud to work in partnership with St George's University School of Medicine. Since 2007, more than 2,500 students have joined us here in Newcastle for year one of the MD Basic Medical Science programme. It's a partnership built on shared values and shared ambition. Together, we've created one of the most globally distinctive medical pathways available, one that brings together academic excellence, clinical rigour, and cultural breadth. Our joint efforts to widen access to medical education led to the creation of the medical degree pathway. This innovation has opened doors for students from a broader range of educational backgrounds and geographic regions, and it represents our shared commitment to equity, excellence, and opportunity. Now we're entering the next exciting phase of this partnership. We're redeveloping the model to provide even more opportunities for students to complete clinical rotations in the UK, with a longer-term ambition to increase access to placements in our local region. This is an ambitious goal, and it reflects our mutual confidence in the strength of our collaboration. You, our newest cohort, are at the heart of that vision. Studying across the UK, the US, and Grenada, you're training in 3 distinct healthcare systems. This breadth will not only enhance your adaptability, it will also shape you into truly global medical professionals. And the outcomes speak for themselves. This programme proudly boasts a 93% residency placement rate for eligible students over the past 3 years, a powerful reflection of the quality, impact, and reputation of what we have built together. As you take your first steps into medical training, you're embracing a path defined by service, compassion, and resilience. It is not easy. The expectations are high and the challenges are real. But so too is the impact that you'll have. You'll care for people at their most vulnerable, you'll listen, heal, advocate, and lead. And in doing so, you'll find deep purpose and lasting fulfillment. We hope your time at Northumbria will enrich not only your knowledge, but also your understanding of the many cultures and communities you'll one day serve. Because excellent medicine isn't just about science and skill, it's about empathy, integrity, and connection. Now, as part of this programme, you've chosen to study at one of the UK's most ambitious and exciting universities. In 2022, Northumbria was named Times Higher Education's University of the Year from amongst all of the UK universities. And more recently, we were proud to be recognised as Modern University of the Year for 2025. We rank in the top 50 of the major UK league tables, top 25 for research power, and in the world's top 100 universities, young universities, in the Times Higher rankings, which rank universities that are 50 years old or younger. We're also a leader in sustainability, ranked in the UK top 10 and best in the North East. And we remain committed to social mobility, using education to unlock potential and change lives. Our research continues to grow in strength and impact, and we're proud that this excellence directly benefits our students. But we're especially proud of our partnership with St George's. In 2023, our work together was recognised when we were shortlisted for the Pioneer Award for Public-Private Partnership of the Year. That recognition reflects the innovation, integrity, and global reach of this collaboration. This partnership is not just a feature of Northumbria's global ambition, it's a cornerstone of it. And today, as we celebrate that partnership, we also celebrate what it means for you. This is the beginning of an extraordinary journey, one that will challenge and inspire you in equal measure. You're now part of something much bigger than yourselves, a global medical community, a shared purpose, and a partnership that believes deeply in your potential. While your studies will demand focus and commitment, we also hope you take time to enjoy everything that student life in Newcastle has to offer. This is a vibrant, welcoming city, full of culture, character, and opportunity. Make connections, ask questions, support one another. Learn as much from each other as you do from your lecturers and your textbooks. And above all, embrace this time. It will pass quickly, and it will shape the doctors and the people that you become. I wish you every success in your studies with Northumbria and St George's Universities and in the remarkable medical careers that lie ahead. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Mark Clunis, Interim Provost, St George's University. Thank you.
Good morning. A very warm welcome to our students and especially to their families, our faculty here at Northumbria University, as well as those that have joined us from Grenada, my fellow administrators, especially from Northumbria University, as well as our UK clinical phase, our US clinical phase, and for those of you who have joined us from Grenada. St George's University has partnered with Northumbria University since 2007. It's an 18-year-old relationship, a mature relationship, and we've graduated thousands of students. And it's a relationship we're proud to be part of here in the United Kingdom. St George's University is 49 years old. And as we approach our 50th birthday, know that you're joining an SGU family. It's the biggest single contributor of physicians to North America, with a huge alumni base. More than 24,000 physicians have joined the US healthcare system and are part of our alumni base. We're an international school, students from more than 140 different countries, and a base of more than 80 hospital affiliations in the United States, from the East Coast to the West Coast, around 20 in the UK, and collaborative clinical centres in Canada and in Grenada. St George's University has been my academic home since 2008, which was after the establishment of this NU relationship. I've even had the privilege to teach here in NU back in the early days of the program, COPD and dynamic airway compression were what I used to travel across to teach on. And I've worked closely with the faculty here at Northumbria University, and I've sensed that there's a definite family identity here with the Northumbria students that you even carry through as we introduce you to the rest of your academic program across in Grenada. The white coat is a milestone event. It's a symbol of your commitment. And in an hour, you'll be no more blessed with any competency in clinical skills or in knowledge, but in one domain you will have made progress, and that's in your professional commitment. It's a public promise to do the best for your patients, but also for you. Your wellness is equally important in your professional journey. It's a proclamation of your decision to work with integrity. Now, there's good news here. There are 3 domains in medical school in our program that you will be assessed on: clinical knowledge, clinical skills, and professional behaviours. The first, clinical knowledge, is exam-based. You can prepare, you can maximise your chances of doing well, but nevertheless, they're exams, and you will perform to a greater or lesser extent on those exams. There will be variable outcomes. Clinical skills, likewise, is a practical test of ability, and it comes with its own separation and learning curve. But I always think the beauty of professional behaviour and professional identity is that you have full agency. You decide what you want to be, how you wish to express your identity. In Stoic philosophy, there's a foundational principle. It's the principle of poieresis. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space lies our freedom and our power to choose our response. In a world where we cannot control external influences, we still have full agency to decide how we respond to external influences. I congratulate you all on your entry to medical school. I look forward to working with you all on your journey. And I want to remind you, because when you reach my age, you realize that many of the memories that you'd formed in your earlier days have slipped. So take time today, be in the moment, look around, reflect, capture those memories, because they will last you a lifetime. Be present, and most of all, enjoy the day. My very best wishes to you. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Marius Lucas. He's the president of St. George's University and the dean of the School of Medicine.
Good morning, everybody. It's very nice seeing you, and a very, very warm welcome from everybody from Grenada, which is specifically warm at this point of the year. So I would like to take a moment and thank everybody, all the students that are here today with us, for trusting your education with us, trusting your education with St. George's University. This is a very, very important milestone because as Mark Luns mentioned, we're entering our 50th anniversary. And the mission of the vision of this university is to address the physician shortage that we experience worldwide. A big testament of how St. George's University contributes to addressing the physician shortage is that we have over 24,000 alumni from the medical school, and we are the #1 provider of physicians in the United States and many other countries such as Grenada, Botswana, Trinidad, and so on. So you're entering, I think, the right university, the right time that the humanity needs more doctors than ever. So thank you so much for being here with us, trusting us with your education. At the same time, I would like to thank your parents, your loved ones, that they traveled all the way with you to support you in this enormous trip of being a medical student and eventually become a physician. I would like also to thank our faculty. We have great faculty here in Northumbria, both from our side, St. George's University, and from Northumbria University, and they highly ranked by our students, and I have to admit they are the best and the highest ranked on student satisfaction. So you're in very, very good hands. At the same time, I would like also to thank the administration of Northumbria University, that they have been excellent in providing all the resources we need, all the resources that you need, and we have a really very nice, long-lasting relationship with them, and we're looking forward for that relationship to extend for many decades to come. Talking a little bit about physician shortage, mission, vision, those all good things, and you're going to hear also Dr. Bob Grant and the rest talking about the white coat ceremony, what that signifies. And I think that will be very, very important to you, as Dr. Klun says, to reflect what does that mean and how all those important information will shape you to become the physician that you want to become. But I would like to give you three very interesting advices that potentially I have to use and everybody in this audience to use. So number one, it's whenever you have a challenge, don't try to be the hero. Go and ask for help. Medical school is really challenging and at the same time really rewarding. So when I was a medical student, I have to admit I cried, and I cried a lot. Every single exam, I wasn't, coming just like that. Of course, what I did, I called my parents, I panicked them, right? Because I had to reach somewhere to take out all the frustration that I had. So please do that. Please reach out for help. St. George's University and Northumbria University, we have a lot of facilities that we can help you, faculty, Department of Educational Services, psychological services, but definitely you have also your loved ones. So please, please, please reach out for help early. There is no ego in medicine. In medicine, we're a very, very big team, and we try to help each other. The second advice, and obviously that goes for all of us, right? If we have a challenge, we're reaching out. I'm reaching out to my boss, and I try to stress him out. Not very successfully, but I'm trying. Second advice, everybody loves to work with people that they are very, very smiley and positive. So let's make it a habit that you're a smiley, positive person. We're creatures of habit, right? Your patients, they would like to see a very enthusiastic, positive personality coming next to the bedside to treat them, and that helps enormously the treatment plan. So try to be positive no matter what happens, no matter if you got a instead of A+, no matter if you got a B instead of B+, try to be happy. And the third one, which is very, very important, especially for people in my age, I have a daughter that is at your age group, and she's studying at the university, not medicine, unfortunately, but keep in contact with your loved ones. You're not alone in this trip. Your parents, your relatives, your friends, they're together with you in this big trip, and they're stressing out. So just text them and say, I'm doing well, or I need to talk to you, or send some money, and so on and so forth. So please, please, please keep track with your loved ones. It will make your life much easier, and it will make their life much, much easier. So in closing, I would like to thank you again and welcome you to this noble profession of medicine. It's a very, very rewarding profession. And if I had personally to come back to this life 100 times, I would have been a medical doctor again for 100 times. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce now my very, very good friend and also the Senior Associate Dean of Clinical Studies, Dr. Bob Grant.
Good morning. I am so excited to be here on behalf of all of the clinical faculty amongst the clinical sites, multiple continents and locations in which you will be learning the practice of medicine itself. I am also a link to Dr. Arnold Gold. I spent many years at Columbia and had the opportunity to make rounds with Dr. Gold. Dr. Gold was a pediatrician, and what amazed me when I first met him was that he was not much taller than his patients. And what I learned from him was he would get down like this when he was talking to the patients. That showed me in a very concrete way, not just a metaphor, how important it was to meet your patients and see them eye to eye. I have two quotes which I think summarize for a clinician what the Arnold Gold Society is trying to teach and what the White Coat Ceremony is all about. The first comes from Aristotle. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Second comes from the American patriot and philosopher Benjamin Franklin, who said, "The noblest question in the world is what good can I do in it?" And those are the foundational aspects of what we expect our physicians, once they graduate as alumni of St. George's, to manifest in their clinical practice. Allow me to share a couple of practical hints. You will learn in the practice of medicine that we use various techniques for memorizing the multitude of facts, algorithms, and treatment plans. When I was in your shoes, I was told the key to success as a clinician was to be available, to be able, and to be affable. To be able, let me put it this way, competence is the first kindness. There is a lot to learn. You will learn it. But without knowing the right thing to do, the bedside manner is secondary, unfortunately not primary. Be available. When someone asks you a question, you heard about the team nature of medicine, respond. Respond to your patients, to their families, to your peers. Respond to your own family. Be affable. I can't say it any better than the dean just said about how important it is for you to keep your spirits up when you're dealing with very challenging life circumstances. You may be familiar with a certain American named Alexander Hamilton. I mention him because he has a history in the Caribbean and then came back to the States, the way that many of our students do. And if you are ever lucky enough to get to Broadway, now that tickets are available, you should go see Hamilton, because the advice that Alexander Hamilton was given was smile more and talk less. It's a famous song in the show about it. And while that's not entirely the way to get 100% successful, it does speak to the fact that one should be affable in all of one's remarks. I add two additional things which the modern era says in terms of success as a clinician. The first is to be accessible. And accessible is different than being available. Accessible means that you figured out work-life balance to the best that you can. You are accessible to your patients in a way that really always puts their primary interests at the front of your mind. And finally, you need to be accountable. We spend a tremendous amount of resource on each and every patient, no matter which country you're practicing in. We have an obligation to use those resources in the best possible way in order to manifest the best possible of outcomes for each and every one of our patients. I have what I call a 5H philosophy to success when I talk to the medical students before they get started on their clinical rotations. The 5 H's are be humble, be honest, hustle, be happy, and show good humor. You've heard about being happy and good humor. Let me talk about being humble. Humility is something that you develop a keener appreciation for the older you get. Einstein said, "The more I know, the less I understand." And as medicine continues to expand and grow, I have seen in my 40 years of practice that the more I know, it seems the less I understand as well. Medicine is a team sport. Make sure that you ask for help. Ask for help as you heard the dean describe if you're having issues in your personal life. All of us at St. George's and at Northumbria are here because we are supporting you in your journey 110% of the way. A clinician asks for a consult if they have a problem that there's not the primary area of interest. A mature person is better looked upon by asking for help than trying to do something that is outside the limits of their own capabilities in practice. That lays into the next H, honesty. No one knows it all. You are all incredibly talented. Your potential is limitless. None of you would be here if your faculty and our admissions committee did not understand that about your potential. But each of us is human, and as humans, we have limitations. So accept the fact that you will never be right 100% of the time, that you will have days that are better or worse than others. That's part of being human. Be honest with yourself and accept that. And then hustle, the most practical of advices. When they tell you on the wards, we start rounds at 8 o'clock, do not show up at 8:05 with your cup of coffee. To a clinician who's very busy juggling multiple tasks, yes, education is important, but there's also patient care, which is the reason that hospitals exist. So when we say the school is student-centric, yes, we're here to ensure that everything we do is to help you with your journey. Hospitals and clinics, the patient is at the center of what they do. So you can't just show up and expect the team to have waited for you because they've got lots of other demands upon their time. So the practical advice, if they say rounds start at 8 in the morning, make sure you get there at 7:45. Make sure that if you're wearing scrubs, which people seem to wear all the time now, that they're clean, and that you're not wearing whatever it was that you were doing after hours and bringing that into the hospital. It also means respecting the team nature of how the discipline is practiced, and to set expectations with the team that you're working with so they understand your particular goals and objectives, because in our hierarchy of learners, members of the graduate staff, residents in the US, registrars in the UK, are going to have different goals and objectives of their experience. And the faculty, the consultants, the attending physicians, many of them are not familiar because the way the nature of medical education has changed. You all know it as well as I do. The impact of AI and what that's doing to all of us in learning is changing even faster than the way that computing power seemed to double every year or two, as each generation of the iPhone comes out. So finally, I would like to close on really, really good news. You will all have jobs once you graduate. You will have good jobs. They will pay you better than 95% of the population. You will be able to pay off your loans. You'll be able to buy a home. You'll support your family, children, a significant other. The need for physicians has never been greater. If you choose to be a primary care doctor, you will get a job as soon as you finish your postgraduate training. So never forget that while we are here to do good by doing well, or doing well by doing good, whichever the correct English phrasing of that is, remember that the investment that you're putting in yourselves now, the time, energy, and effort, will pay back dividends over and over again, not only to you personally, but to each of those patients that you care for, the communities that you serve, and to society as a whole. Thank you for your attention. Congratulations as well. And Dr. Finn, you can come back to please introduce our guest speaker. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you everyone for those kind words. And it is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. David Stoker, an esteemed and respected colleague and our keynote speaker. Dr. Stoker graduated in medicine from Edinburgh University in Scotland, and following a period of research with the Royal Navy in Portsmouth, he has had an exciting career in general and laparoscopic surgery based in London, at North Middlesex University Hospital and the University College London Hospital, where he founded and developed the upper GI cancer services. Dr. Stoker has held positions as cancer lead, divisional director, and associate medical director, and he has led the North Mid undergraduate team as a sub-dean for UCL students and director of medical education for SGU. He was the associate chair of surgery for SGU for 12 years, before taking on his current role, where he now serves as the associate dean for clinical studies, which he took on 2 years ago. His time is now divided between clinical work and St. George's work, liaising with the US team, the Northumbria Basic Sciences team, and UK faculty and students here in the UK. And on that note, please give a warm welcome to Dr. David Stoker.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. President Lucas, faculty, parents, relatives, and students, thank you for inviting me to address you today. Congratulations to those of you about to start your studies. You've worked very hard to reach this point, which is the first step along the way to an amazing future career. Welcome to the UK. For those of you who've not been here before, enjoy our culture, history, towns, cities, and the countryside while you're here. I'm honoured to be part of today's White Coat ceremony and look forward I'm looking at all you students. I'm reminded of my first days in medical school back in the early 1970s. There was a band around at the time called the Moody Blues, and they had an album out called On the Threshold of a Dream. And that's where we were then, and that's where you are all today. As we were about to start our studies back then, we too had an introductory talk about the challenges ahead. We were told that we were joining one of the most exciting and rewarding professions in the world with over 100 specialties, now more like 400. And the opportunities before us were huge. From my point of view, nearly 50 years or so later, I really can't believe it's that long, but it is. I cannot disagree. It's enormous opportunity. We were informed that about half of us would opt for the challenging and varied life of a family practitioner, while half would become specialists, a ratio that's changed little over the years. Medicine is a long course. It was 6 years for us, so even longer than your course. With much to learn, and our course was compared with a language degree, where with about 10,000 words, you'd bring fluency in any language studied, whilst as medical students, you're going to learn more than 50,000 new words to take you to the very early stages of your postgraduate medical career. So there's a lot to learn. It may sound daunting, but it's not. And you'll be fascinated by the workings of the human body, anatomy, physiology, dis-ease, and therapeutics. So much to learn, but it's all so much fun. We were reminded to be humble. And then we could not take credit for all of our treatment, curing our future patients. For hundreds of thousands of years, nature's been doing a pretty good job of it on its own without our help. And that there was such a thing as placebo effect. Also, despite our best intentions, and even with the most advanced and innovative medical and surgical treatments, we would sometimes fail, and even rarely cause harm. Now, I look back at my career and the amazing advances that we could not have imagined on that first day all those years ago. We've come a long way since pocket calculators, which were the new gadget when I started. Home computers not appearing on the scene until the early 1980s, along with early CT scans and drugs such as omeprazole, which were to completely change the face of emergency surgery. By the early 1990s, the concept of keyhole surgery was appearing, and many of us spent about a decade honing our skills and doing research and writing papers on this exciting new technique with massive reductions in hospital stays and improved recovery. A new surgical perspective, bariatrics, came along, only to be threatened with extinction by new medications such as GLP-1 agonists. In the early 2000s, Da Vinci robots, which some of you have heard of, I expect, they were introduced into operating theaters and now have far more ability than the human hand. The Human Genome Project completed in 2003 when you were all very young. And since then, immunology has created vaccines for flu, Ebola, and many other challenging viral conditions, not to mention its use in cancer treatment, forensics, and many other areas. And then there was the triumph of mRNA vaccine for COVID, produced first in the UK within months rather than years in 2020. In 2025, even medics can now work from home with secure VPN technology. We have multinational conferences on Teams or Zoom. We have mixed reality theaters, brain-computer interfaces, 3D printing, nanotechnology to contend with, and all there to help us to improve outcomes for patients. The speed of change in technology is still accelerating. It's impossible to predict all the advances in medicine you will see. But there's no doubt that the science fiction of today will bring challenges well beyond the threshold of those dreams that you have now. AI and quantum computers will bring an explosion of new medications and treatments for many diseases difficult to treat at present. The accelerated development of new antibiotics, immunogenics, biologics, and other chemotherapeutic agents will lead to vastly improved outcomes for our future patients. Advanced robotics will enhance the work of surgeons such as myself, and may take over much of it with improved morbidity and mortality for challenging cases, or even those at present inoperable. The science will always be exciting, but you will have to remember that medicine is not just a rewarding job. It's a calling and a privilege. It comes with responsibilities, as you've heard already, and they are first and foremost to your future patients. We are not yet in an era where a computer will take a better history than an experienced doctor. You will have to learn to listen, to communicate well with empathy, take good, focused histories, and examine patients with sensitivity to the many aspects of their lives. You will have to make diagnoses and decide how to treat them. You will have to give them good news. You will have to give them bad news. Skills that are very different from all the technical aspects and what makes medicine as much an art as a science. Experience will mold you. Experience that is good and not so good. You will see humanity at its best, and you will see those who are not coping well with illness and with loss. Courage, stoicism, fear, triumph over infirmity, happiness, grief. And you will learn the skills to manage all of these on the wards and in your clinics and operating theatres. I was in New York in June this year, where we graduated 1,200 or so new medical students from St. George's International Medical School. Wonderful event. I also attended the presentation of the Gold Humanism Awards, which the two Bobs have already mentioned. 90 students who had gone above and beyond in their actions as medical students. You have heard about Arnold Gold already this morning, the Professor of Clinical Neurology and Pediatrics at Columbia University. It's not long ago that he died. I'm not going to say a great deal more about him because you've already heard it, but he felt humanistic concepts of empathy and compassion focused on the patients needed to be emphasized at your stage, not just when you were junior doctors. And as you heard, the first white coat ceremonies over 30 years ago. And he also created the Gold Humanism Honor Society. And I hope that some of you who excel will be attending New York in 4 years' time for a similar induction into that society. At the end of today's ceremony, when you've all donned your white coats, you'll be asked to give a personal commitment to the university and to Dr. Gold's patient and colleague-focused ideals. Read the words carefully, because they are what modern doctoring is about. Once again, congratulations on entering medical school. Enjoy your journey, which will be long and with many ups and downs, but above all, deeply rewarding. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Stoker, for those inspiring words. And now, students, the moment you've been waiting for. St. George's University School of Medicine will now present you with a white coat symbolizing your entry to the profession and your commitment to upholding the duties, trust associated with medicine and medical training. I would now like to invite to the stage faculty from the School of Medicine who are going to be our white coaters today. First of all, Marius Lucas, President of St. George's University and Dean of the School of Medicine. Robert Grant, Senior Associate Dean of Clinical Studies with St. George's University. Beryl D'Souza, Assistant Dean of Student Affairs, St. George's University. Jimmy Chong, Associate Chair of Internal Medicine with St. George's University. And Namin Bashira, Clinical Lecturer here with us at St. George's University. Dr. Kristen Thompson, Lecturer and Director of Taylor College, St. George's University, will call out each student by name and be welcomed to the stage. Students will enter from the stage right and will leave by the stage left. Those students who today have with them a physician, family member or loved one will be coated by those physicians. Please hold your applause until all students are coated and keep the aisles clear for the duration of the coating. Thank you.
Farez Abdullah, Albertul Abdel Walaheb, Hamza Absudo, Divine Adedbete, Egahosa Agbon Sikolo. Vivian Christopher Albert Santapa, Jana Al-Hakdari, Sadine Al-Nohor, Supranat Artem Nuevipas, Eduardo Avena.
Just a logistic comment. After we put the coats on, we do take a picture, and it's just easier if we, since we're spaced out putting the coats on, if we kind of all come together as a group, the faculty will be between each of the students. Just wanted to share that so I don't have to say that an additional 20 times. And please remember what we said about smiling for the picture, you know, humor and all that. So thank you so much.
Nayan Bansal, Kilos Bastaros, Rashita Parani, Zoe Boner, Emily Breitman. Juan Choi, Rowena Sasha Diaz, Marika Drago Principe, Malak El Huzail Abid, Salma Elras. Suyong Om, Alisa Falou, Malik Farajala, Catherine Fauci, Ayana Furukawa. Acacia Ganesh Babu, Nina Gershon, Manisvi Giridhar, Anav Graywall, Philopatir Gergis. Aryan Gupta, Maria Habashi, Saif Hafez, Zain Hassan, Harjina Heer. Zuaktato, Toluwalupe Ekubor, George Khalad, Abirami Karthik, Anaya Khan. Abuka Orjiako, Fatima Kanyari, Reverend Kingsley Jose, Hyung Jang Kao, Trilok Kujapwa, Mark Labib, Kushi Malhotra, Stati Mal, Arman Mangat, Amrita Vashini Manikantan, Catherine Margit Singh, Owen Mason, Michael McHale, Selsabil Mesaudi, Marina Mikaelen, Joshua Morris, Chrysantha Munsami, Pauline Arnett Mwamba, Lasia Nagara Gauda, Seyong Nam, Neil Narayan, Miriam Nassim, Aman Sahil Noshad, Adobe Wansu, Udana Osofia, Aklia Patan, Barastanai Petty, Pran Prapampot, Ajay Purewal, Nicholas Ramputty. Akram Reslan, Ritisha Roy, Mustafa Rubai, Sarah Rubenstein, Yukta Sabnani. Sahil Sakshdev, Taneson Santon Benit, Zahra Sakesha, Rajan Paul Sandhu, Marina Sandoval. Bhavika Saxena, Natalie Shafiq, Saeed Ahid Shah, Suha Shamal, Nimir Soni. Sineo Mighty Stuffland, C. Tu Tong, Brinda Vij, Justina Wahab, Sarah Wahab. Wahab, sorry. Jiabao Huang, She Yi Win Momo, Ranyana Yado, Mohammed Ramfan Usofji. The following students will now be robed by their special guest robers. Student Divya Chowdhury will be robed by Dr. Umesh Arwal. Student Osagwe Maje will be robed by Dr. Cynthia Owens. Student Bishoy Siman will be robed by Dr. Sarah Siman. Student Mahika Salji will be robed by Dr. Ramesh Arora. Student Christopher Jeevan Paul Singh will be robed by Dr. Veena Singh. Student Dara Valabenini will be robed by Dr. Nagwesarao Valabenini. Student Andrew Wu will be robed by Dr. Carolyn Wu. Student Mame Yeboah will be robed by Dr. Akua Serah Akwa Ne Yeboah.
I would like to now introduce you to Dr. Shubham Malhotra, Assistant Dean of Student Affairs, St. George's University, who will lead you in the professionalism commitment.
Thank you, Dr. Finn, and a huge congratulations to the newly quoted students. It is really wonderful to see such happy, smiling faces, both of the students, but also especially of the families and the guests. So I would just like to add my congratulations again and ask you to enjoy this moment because it is truly special. It is my privilege to lead you into the professional commitment and oath that St. George's wants you to take on this important day. This oath was written by a student task force in 1995 and has been recited at all the white coat ceremonies. You can find this oath at the back of your program. So now I would like to invite all the students as well as any physicians in the audience to please stand up and recite the oath with me. Today is the beginning of my medical education and training as physician. I acknowledge my responsibility to continue the pursuit of knowledge and understanding while recognizing the limits of my abilities and seeking assistance when necessary. I am entering training for a noble profession in which my interest must always be subservient to those who may seek my assistance. I must be ever conscious of the value of my fellow healthcare professionals and treat them with respect at all times. My classmates at St. George's University are now my colleagues, and I owe to them the same support and encouragement to achieve their goals as I hope to receive from them. I will work alongside my colleagues and professors with tolerance, compassion, honesty, and cultural humility. I will treat all members of the St. George's University community and its visitors with equity, regardless of rank, as I will do with my future patients. I acknowledge my obligation to adhere to the University Honor Code and to conduct myself with integrity and in an ethical manner at all times henceforth. Taking full responsibility for my choices and actions, I shall do all within my power to show in myself an example of all that is honorable and good throughout my medical career. It is a privilege to have been given the opportunity to become a physician. May I be ever conscious of that privilege and never abuse it. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Congratulations again, and welcome to the family. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Malhotra. I'm getting my steps going up and down. So on behalf of St. George's, I would like to thank Arnold Gold Foundation for the humanism pins in medicine that is on each student's coat. Thank you to the students, parents, families, faculty, staff, administrators, and specially invited guests for your support and presence here today. Please remain seated and keep the aisles clear until our faculty and students have exited. The students will then re-enter the room to allow photography opportunities on the stage as a class, so please bear with the photographer while he sets up for this. We would like to invite you to join us in Escape, the area opposite here today, for a light lunch and reception, and also where you'll have the opportunity to meet some of the faculty and staff. Again, thank you so much for joining us today on this special occasion. And to the students, as we've said on many times, welcome to the family. Like all good families, we're going to have good times, bad times, but we're still family. Thank you.